What up, YouTube? It's your boy Paul, and welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up with Paul. This is your boy Paul. As you notice, the co-chair seat's empty today. I don't have a guest on the show today because I feel that I can adequately cover the topic of the day, which is the importance of positive living. So, without further delay, let's get into today's show, shall we? Alright. When you think of positive living, you're probably thinking of gurus and people you see on the internet and on TV. Talk about, send me $50,000, change your life. I'm going to tell you today why it's so important to live positively in this day and age and in this world. Because the world is constantly changing every day. And attitudes and moods are changing with it. So today I'm going to discuss the reasons and the whys of why we should live positively in this world. Because as you know, at the close of every episode I say let's live positive. Well, this week and next week I'm going to give you the avenues to positivity. Now, without further delay, let me get into the negative side of this issue. Before I started this journey called positive living, I was living very negatively, and the results were, as you could probably guess, very negative. In and out of jail, paying more money than I owed, paying more money than I had to pay. Because I was making bad choices, I was living negatively, hanging around with people going in negative directions. And negative go together, but you're still going to get negative regardless. So, one day I just sat back getting tired of the way life was going for me. I got tired of seeing all the negativity coming back to revisit me. So one day, I did a lot of inner soul searching. And I said, Paul, why you gotta go any further into this path of negativity? When you got a whole world full of opportunities for positive living. And you don't have to come back here. Yeah, I was in a jail cell thinking about things. Because when you're in there, that's when you do all the thinking. You do all the acting while you're out here. And it's all fun and glorious, but it's not. Because then comes the consequences. So, positive living means to watch those around you. Who are you hanging around with? What are they into? What are they doing? When you ask yourself that question, take an assessment in your mind. What exactly is positive living? Positive living simply is thinking of the consequences of your choices before you make them. It means that you're looking at the possible repercussions before you do things. It means looking at who you hang around with, what they're doing, what kind of negative living they're into. Because if your friends aren't into doing things that are moving them in a more positive direction, moving them forward without having to look over their shoulder to see who's coming up behind them, because they've either offended somebody, stole from somebody, done something negative to somebody else, or just overall just gave them an attitude problem. Let me tell you, step number one in any path of positive living has to be respect. Our parents tried to tell us, if you want to get respect, you got to give it first. And yes, that is true. If you're going to demand respect, you better be willing to give it. Or you're not going to get respect because you don't know how to give it first. You get what you give. It's like throwing energy out. Like, You throw negativity out into the world, you sow negative seeds. You sow seeds of negativity. Being argumentative, combative, insulting and degrading. What you going to harvest? The same thing. But if you focus the same amount, actually, it takes less energy to put out into the universe of positivity to yield multiple benefits of positivity. So, what you're doing when you're living a more positive lifestyle is you're not out here in these streets being stupid, holding people at gunpoint, breaking into houses. You're no longer out here doing those destructive behaviors. Also known as, and in this context will be called, negative behavior. Because it is completely negative behavior. Now, you're no longer out here doing these negative behaviors, these negative actions. You have decided, I'm tired of living negatively and seeing the repercussions and results of this negative living. To the point now where you want to go, okay, well, how do I change where I was over here to how to go here? I will discuss that more in depth next week. But this week, I want to give you the whys. Why should you focus on a life of positive living? The why is very clear. It really is. And it's self-explanatory. But, like I said from day one, this channel will be a platform of positivity. So I'm not going to focus as much on the negative living, the negative behaviors, the negative attitudes, and the things that bring negativity into your world. On the on the other side of the coin, I'm going to bring you positive ways of living. I will tell you what they are, and then next week I will go more in depth on how to make the journey of positive living start from here where you're starting out at. Yeah, you may be in a negative situation. Some of you may be watching me from prison and downloading this onto your device. Because every week I bring a little bit of positivity into your negative world. And if you're one of those people, I was where you are. Except I had a mentor in there that started to guide me out. He showed me the doorways to get out of negative living that would end up in recidivism. I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. While I was sitting in that cell thinking of what I'm doing, what got me here, it became clearer and clearer the longer and harder I thought about it, how to change that avenue, how to not come back when I got out. And I challenge you, think of the things that put you in this situation. Maybe you were trying to be cool, hang out, fit in. You know, maybe you were influenced by the wrong kind of influences in life. Whatever your reasoning for being there, you can come out of that living. I promise you. In 7 more days, I will have not committed any major crimes in 18 years because of my thought processes changing from negative to positive. And I challenge you, do the same thing. Look in your life, take an assessment, and change those things that put you there. Because I assure you, life is much better on this side than it is over here in negativity. Yeah, you may have to live here in limbo in between for a little while, but it'll move on over here into positive living and positive thinking. And to the rest of you that haven't been, don't go. Think about your actions before you do them. Treat everybody with respect. And you'll get respect back. Expect respect. But at the same time, give it. You know, it's a two-way street. Positive living has to start in the mind. It's a mindset. And a lot of it depends on who you hang around with. You hang around with people in the streets doing negative behaviors, negative actions, and negative reactions, you're going to stay negative. You have to change, you may have to change your entire circle of friends to get out of that cycle of negativity. But regardless, if you have to change your circle of friends, you have to change your mindset first. You have to dedicate yourself to positive living. And say, I'm going to start with me. I'm going to start working on myself. So I can change those mindsets that kept me going over here. And start looking at ways that I can go over here to true liberty, to true freedom. Because once you start living more positive, your life becomes positive. You no longer worry, do they have a warrant for my arrest? Your mindset goes now to, okay, what's my paycheck going to be this week? Alright, I may have to set aside a little bit more money out of my paycheck for this bill coming up. But you know what? You got a paycheck coming that's guaranteed. If you have a legitimate 9-to-5 hustle, or if you can go to labor ready and dedicate yourself to be there before the doors open and before people start getting there, you're the first person there. Because when I first got out, that's how I changed my financial negativity. Is I got in that mind state of, okay, nobody's going to hire me. To, okay, labor ready's an option. Day labor's an option. Yeah, it's not the most stable, but it's an option. It's a discipline. Because there were many nights I slept for 4 hours, went over to labor ready, worked for 8 hours, and came home and went right to sleep. I didn't eat nothing to go to bed. I was out. I got back up the next morning at about 4 o'clock in the morning and went to labor ready and was standing there before anybody else got there. I was the first one at that door. Because I knew if I was the first one at that door, I was getting a paycheck that day. I was going to make some money. You've got to start with your employment. And I know in this time, a lot of you have lost your jobs, or your jobs have put you on layoff because it's just not there to be had. And if that's the case, day labor is an option. Or go on the internet and look for ways to generate money during this time. If you were unemployed before this, it's going to be a little harder to get a job during this corona lockdown, during this time. Essential businesses are going to want people that were motivated but got laid off from their other jobs. They're going to hire them. You have to change that pathway. Even if it means going to labor ready every day and putting in an 8-hour shift at labor ready. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, you're gonna be dead dog tired when you walk out the doors of that place, but you're dead dog tired with cash in your pocket. And if you want to get if you're demanding a 9-to-5 job, apply and wear their phone line out. Check on that application daily, 2 or 3 times a day. Be in their ear, because that shows dedication. That shows them I really want this. I really want this job for myself to better my life. That's the first step, is getting your finances started. You've moved from over here in a negative space where you have no money to now you're right here. You're starting to get your way out of the negativity rut. Okay, well, after you start working on your finances, you have to start thinking of, okay, what is in my mind that is holding me back from positive living? What kind of negative mind spaces am I in? Start thinking of ways. Meditation's one way to handle the negativity that you are bombarded with daily. And I don't mean sitting there with your legs crossed in the middle of the floor, sitting on a pillow going, oh. That's one way of meditating. Close your eyes, focus on your breathing. Concentrate and focus your breathing in relaxing motions. Inhaling positivity and exhaling negativity. That helps. That's meditation. Do self-guided meditation where you relax one body system at a time. Completely relax it. And go to your happy place. A place that you're comfortable. And remain there for a minute until your mind relaxes and calms down and gets the negative that's in there out. You know, envision yourself sweeping it with this stuff off the imaginary porch you have in your dream world. Sweep it off. You know, meditation falls in many forms. It can be prayer, your prayer time. You don't pray out. I hope you don't pray out loud, because it is also written that the good Lord sees what you do in secret. But I'm not on a platform of religion or politics. So, that being said, that's all that's going to be said about that. But you can meditate in many ways. Even as much as just closing your eyes and ignoring the world for a minute. Don't do it while you're driving. I do expect you to exercise a little bit of common sense. But like if you're in a negative spot, negative space, or you notice your mind's in a negative place, just close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, and let it go. You know? Send that negative energy back out into the universe for the universe to do what it does with it. You know? That clears the space for positivity to enter your body. It gives the opportunity for your little bubble to be positive. For your world to move in more positive directions. Because like I said, positive living is nothing more than a mind state to start with. And then your surroundings dictate positive living. You know? You surround yourself with negative people, negative things are going to come. But you start hanging around with motivated, positive people that are going in positive directions, doing positive things, and quit focusing so much on negative living and what was over here. Don't look back. Because when you're looking back, you're falling behind. When you're marching forward, you're looking forward. So when you're walking towards positive living, which I will go more in depth next week on, when you start the path of positivity, it's going to be hard for you at first because those urges of negativity that are inside of you just gnawing at you and nagging at you, let us out. You have to say, no, I'm harnessing you. I'm pushing you down. because I don't need you. I don't need you. I'm becoming a more positive person, and I don't need your nagging and gnawing at me. And you move over here into more positive directions, because positivity is a mind state. Why should you go more in a more positive direction? There's 3 circles in every human's life. The circle of self, obviously. The reasons are obvious for self. You're not going to jail and or prison. You don't have to worry about the police arresting you. But let's move a little farther out of the circle of just self to family. And I don't just mean mom, dad, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa. I'm talking kids, wife. What kind of example is that pushing forward for them when you're living negatively and going to jail and or prison on a daily, on a regular, you know? What is that pushing towards them? That, well, the quick money and the quick negative living is more important than you in my life. You need to change that. Because let me tell you what, you only have one chance with kids. You only have one shot to send them in the right direction. You know, once they're grown and on their own, it's too late. Those opinions, behaviors, and attitudes and mindsets are already set in place. That I'm not going to listen to a thing he's got to say because he didn't care enough to stay out of jail or prison long enough to be part of my life. So why would I want to listen to him? Let me tell you something. I'll tell you why. History, if not corrected, can and will repeat itself. Your past. If you don't change your mindset and behavior today, pray to God your kids are below the ages of 5. Because if you change your life now, you'll be there in their more formative years to push them in more positive and healthy directions. To focus on being able to keep their grades up. Keep them focused on going to college and doing better than you did. Because let's face it, I'm a member of a generation that is all but gone. And learning to be more positive taught me how to get away. How to get out of that life set. To where now, I don't even think about negativity. If negativity comes in, I try to cast it out as fast as it comes in. Because if I'm dwelling on negativity, I'm not focusing on more positive things in my life. I'm not going to see things change in a better direction. Now, when you're focusing on trying to live positively for your family, your wife, kids, girlfriend, significant other and kids, whatever the case may be. When you're putting them first, when they are a priority to you, and you're living positively and giving them positive feedback and positive demonstrations, your flesh and blood family will notice, and they will try to change those things. So, focusing on living positively doesn't just reward you and your immediate family, it rewards your flesh and blood family. But let's go beyond the family circle now, into a brighter scope of understanding. Let's look at what positive living can do for your community around you. The people that live around you in your neighborhood, that's your community. How does positive living affect your community? Well, You're no longer a burden on the taxpayers and the people in your community. They don't look upon you and cast their head down and shake their head in disbelief that, did he really just do that? They're now looking at, look at what he just did. Whoa, that's amazing that there's somebody that wants to do that. They take notice. And when you do things for the neighborhood, for the community, not expecting anything back, not expecting recognition, payment, none of that. You're doing it out of your own will. You want to do it. You know, for the betterment of your community. Then they're going to take notice. And you're going to move forward. And those 3 circles are your top 3 important circles. Because the rest of it will come together. You know, when we can build a few communities living positively and bring communities together in a positive light, your friends will notice a difference. Over here, the negative friends you used to run around with, they're going to notice. And they're going to try to draw you off that path of positivity. I ain't going to lie. It's not easy. Living positively is not easy. Because there are so many factors trying to pull you back from that level of positivity. So, in conclusion, the purpose of this episode, and I hope I hit the point, was positive mindset dictates positive living. Positive living starts a chain reaction. Not only in your life, but the life of your family, your friends, your community, your co-workers. Positivity will rub off in every aspect of your life. People will be like, oh yeah, he did this, and this, but he's a good guy now, you know, he's a good person. And if you happen to be watching me from behind the walls, man, you don't have to be there anymore. Well, you have to finish your sentence, but your mindset does not have to stay there. You do not have to live like that. It's not necessary. Start working on yourself in there. That way, when you get out, you can give the world a better you. More positive you. You know? I have to quote a good friend of mine. His name's Jay Soul. He has his own radio show. He always says, and to those that are serving time, always remember it only gets greater later. You know? I can't think of a more perfect way to end this than when you start the path of positivity, it only gets greater from there. You will see your life change in leaps and bounds. If you like the content on the show today, leave me a like and a comment. Subscribe to my page. And hit that bell for notifications to let you know when I drop my next episode. And if you like the content and you have any comments like I didn't hit, like you want me to hit more on a certain topic, let me know in the comments section. I mean, I'm getting the views, but I'm not getting the comments, the likes, and subscribers. We're starting to make traction though. I'm starting to see more of you getting interested. Subscribe so I can give you more positive content, so that we can keep the positivity train rolling. But that's it for today's episode. And I want you to remember, stay peaceful, stay productive, And above all else, let's stay positive. Peace.